Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absent channel. We are your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for animation.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator. And today we are going to be reacting to me doing a Todoroki commission. And if you want to get your own original ink commission done by me, check out honeyandabsent.com where you can get it.
All right, and if you love what we do, leave a like. Here we go. All right, what do we got here?
So I am drawing Todoroki.
Okay.
And this was a...
Oh, Icy Hot, Icy Hot.
Yeah,
right?
Icy Hot.
That's right, that's right,
That's
right.
his nickname.
Icy Hot.
And this was actually a 4-parter commission that was given from a mother to her daughter who really likes all these characters.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And you can see I did a bunch of thumbnails for all the commissions that I had to do at that time. So I am referencing that Todoroki thumbnail to draw Todoroki.
And why do you think it's important for to start out with like a thumbnail?
So I've done it with and I've done it without. And when I start out with a thumbnail, I don't have to figure out the composition and the drawing all in one go. I already know kind of what I'm drawing, so it makes it easier for my mind,
Your mind.
to just figure out what I'm doing, because I'm juggling so much when I'm drawing this.
And look at that, like some of them you have the angle tilted upwards, downwards. It's pretty cool.
I really tried, especially for this one, since this is a 4-parter commission series. I wanted them all to work together. Because let's say you're gonna frame each one all together. I wanted all the poses to work similarly.
Right. So if this person were to hang it on their walls, it like fits together as a cohesive thing.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that the angles of their heads, the eye line, and which direction they were facing all kind of worked together. So it actually was more like composing an entire 4-person commission.
Nice.
More than it is just, it needs to be composed on its own and together. So it was helpful to see.
And this is a really, really appealing Todoroki.
Yeah,
But doesn't really look exactly like the Todoroki we know.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the show and we love the show. Check out our like My Hero podcast. But
Yeah.
so I kind of know his character, and he is really a little bit soft-spoken but very ambitious, and I wanted that to come across in the design of his features. So whenever I redesign this, because I don't want to draw it exactly like it is, it's really boring for me to do that.
You want to add your own spin, make it fun for yourself, right?
Yeah, so I redesigned him to look a little bit older, a little bit more chiseled, but not too chiseled. He's not like Hunk, or he's not like the Hulk, or he's not, you know.
He still has his boyish looks.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I think all the girls like him for. So here, I'm starting on the ink, and for
Great
him,
first few strokes. Look at how pretty those strokes are. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys draw or ink traditionally, but the first few strokes really set up the rest of the inking process. If I am struggling through the first few strokes, I know that
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad drawing session.
Yeah.
Not that the drawing's gonna be bad, it's just more of a struggle, I guess.
Definitely.
So here, I remember when I was doing it, I was trying to figure out how to add more detail in terms of hair. Because I remember I had a really hard time figuring out like more spiky hair, and it's hard to make it look loose.
Yeah.
So same thing with like Todoroki's hair. I would call it something like a messy bowl cut.
Yeah, I like it. It looks like tassels and kind of bedhead looking.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I think I want to continue adding more and more detail to, especially boys' hair. I don't know why in my head I feel like it's different than girls' hair, but I really like how the hair came out. One of the reasons why I wanted to make it more detailed too was because half of his hair is white, and it's not like I can tone it or add any kind of highlight or detail to it, so I really needed the line work to show and be good.
Yeah, speak for itself, for sure. Nice, and now you're getting into his costuming. And you're getting these really long lines, very confident, very loose still though.
Yeah, I'm actually, I think, better at drawing straight lines with ink than drawing curved lines, because you actually have to be a lot more precise with curved lines. And you know, it took me a lot to get that kind of control, and I still don't think I am a master at it yet, by no means. Especially when it comes to like more mechanical straight line object type things.
Nice. And now you're getting into his hands.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I am really into hands right now.
You are. Almost every one of these, I noticed you tried to incorporate the hands.
Yeah.
You didn't just default to have it be a plain old portrait. You want to add some sort of gesture of the hand in there.
Honestly, when I'm strapped on time, I really don't want to do it, but it just makes the drawing look so much more interesting.
It does. I really think so too, because like a portrait to me is a little bit one note, whereas in like if you give me like something in the foreground like a hand.
And a portrait too, like it just doesn't work so well unless you paint it, honestly, because then you have a lot more to look at.
Right.
When you add the hands, it just adds a little bit more to look at and time to dwell on the piece, I guess.
Yeah. And you're adding ink washes now.
Yeah. I really wanted to make a point. All the things that are metal on him are metal. So I made sure to add a little bit of interest. You can see I toned the white of the hair. Something that I've noticed by doing this so much is if you make the white just slightly gray, you can kind of add a highlight. And
to the white.
Yeah, to
highlight
the white.
to the white.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's pretty clever. Hey.
So that's something that a little trick to when you're doing these more subtle, limited palette ink commissions.
Also, though, when you add that black, whew, like my heart dropped. I was like, whoa.
It really
pushed him forward. Yeah. Whew.
That's why I like black backgrounds a lot. But a lot of people can default to it because if they don't have any ideas on what the background should look like. And I think you should definitely like plan it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a statement. Also, I would use black for something like this because, you know, there's not much real estate to the background anyway. You can't really add anything fancy. So just make it a simple black and push the character forward. Looks great. Oh, look at the watercolor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually this isn't watercolor. This is acrylic ink.
Oh, you use FW?
Yeah,
Perfect.
FW
Nice.
acrylic ink. And the reason why I use that instead of watercolor is I noticed acrylic ink kind of seals the sumi ink and it doesn't smear as much as when you use watercolor.
I really like this look more than the watercolor look right now. Kind of reminds me of school, that's why.
Oh.
Jeff's class.
Yeah. We used a lot of FW acrylic ink back in the art school days.
Wow, it's really great. That blue's a little too saturated though. No?
I think it works really well with like the high saturation of the entire piece.
Yeah.
I think I do darken it eventually, though.
Yeah, I think when you do, I'm sure you will. It's gonna look really awesome. You're adding definition to this little armpit here.
Thing. What is it? Do any of you guys know what Todoroki's
It's an armpit harness
thing is and what it does or what it is?
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I am adding more tone because I think this is the problem when you're like really into the drawing. Sometimes you forget to look at your reference, and I went and looked at Todoroki's costume and I realized, oh, these things they're like a gray actually, and I completely forgot to tone it in. So you just gotta like wait till everything dries and then fix all the things you missed.
You really studied a lot of metals when you were schooling it up, right?
So like this is a very like limited cartoony way of doing it. I actually want to add more detail in the future and like really study it, but I've done it so much that I can just kind of like wing it, make it up, and it still kind of looks convincing.
And you're adding color pencil to the FW ink, which is what we do for watercolor as well. It gives off the same effect. I really like the way
the hair
just color ink looks.
Oh yeah, it's just more vibrant than watercolor sometimes.
Watercolor could be a little like, because it's a light wash too, it's not that potent.
Yeah.
But man, that looks great. Oh, nice.
And then I'm going in
and adding
sparkles.
I like this sparkle.
It really just finishes it off.
Nice.
Man, I love the way this came out.
Oh man, I do too.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks great.
And you can't forget the signature. Gotta sign your work all the time. And there it is.
Let people know who did it. If you really enjoyed that, please do us a favor and like, touch, jingle our bells and buttons over there, and leave a comment down below for who you think Janet should draw next.
And if you want your own original ink commission, head over to honeyandabsinthe.com. We also have merch. I am currently wearing the fight shirt. And all the materials will be linked down below. So if you end up buying something like a brush or some ink, it gives us a small, tiny little commission at no extra cost to you.
And if you like what we do, find us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever you can find us.
And don't forget to dare to dream.